Hey, how's it, everybody? This is Jeeves, your old composer here at the Decomposer Lounge. I've had messages many times from people saying, "Hey, man, you should react to some of Nick Nocturnal stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, but no, but nah, that could be scary." You know why? Because I really respect him as an individual who's got a really great show. But once I did say, I think, in a video that I thought that he was hiding stuff from us. Perhaps a particular skill set. I don't know. There was just something that I get this feeling about Nick, that the depth of musicality and his abilities are far deeper than perhaps we know on the outside and what he produces for us, you know. So that being said, I said, okay, fine. This came through my browser. I had 2 Patreon suggestions last week saying, dude, Nick just released a song, so why don't you listen to it? So I said, all right, I'll do this. So this is Nick Nocturnal's new track. It is called, stand by, what's it called? Inside My Walls. And I look forward to this. I have listened to some of his work before, so I know it's really dark, authentic. I'm a genre mess, so I don't even know what I'm just going to shut up. Let's do this. This is Nick Nocturnal's new track. I'm listening to it. I'm very afraid. You guys, let's do this. All right. Any day now. Holla. Move that bar back. Hoi! Ooh, we're starting with the ambient stuff, okay? Nick, wake up. Kind of looks like Journey on Acid, this video. Okay, here we go.
In your eyes, they hide behind your veil and tell a solemn tale, but I see through it. Oh, you carried it for so long, never falter. I've grown weary of your sad songs, playing a martyr. There is a place in my that I should never go. Familiar faces I don't recognize at all. I hear them call out to me when I am all alone, forever haunted by the ghosts inside my walls.
I am not surprised. This is really thick layering of hybrid work, and of course, you know, Paramount and Utmost, you know, the metal. But you know me and my ears, I listen for the little things that are below. I love the opening of the track, kind of set us up on a little ambient vibe. Then there's this little kind of like unique muted piano thing. He does a little pattern at the beginning, kind of locks our head into this. And then as soon as he comes in with the heaviness, what I love is he did not release that. That's still kind of meandered in the background, and it's very well mixed, you know, compared to the depth and the heaviness of the guitars. Of course, those are 2 different tones, right? You have these high piano kind of configuration, chord configuration he's got, but being higher up in the tone. Then the heaviness of the guitars come in. Of course, it's an overwhelming sound. It does kind of flush out a little bit, but he lets that live, you know, so I really super dig that. Now, this guy's vocals, I mean, this is just next level. I don't have much to say about vocals because I'm not a vocal coach, but it is amazing still that these guys have incredibly powerful, crispy, clean voices, and then can burst into their, you know, the fry vocals. I also noticed there's a part there where I went like this because it sounded like there was an arpeggiation that was going on in the first verse. And then I noticed the video, he's doing that with the guitar, which is probably the case because nowadays you can, in post, there's so many effects you can run your guitars through. It sounds like a synth arpeggiation. The other thing is that hook is so freaking huge and bold, and what I love is the technique now that producers, especially young producers like Nick and people in this kind of arena, are doing with that fried vocals, and now they're taking it from what it used to be, like maybe just a power track or 2 back, you know, many years ago, to now multi-layering it and using it as very powerful soundscape addition. You know, so there's tonal vocals that'll be, you know, tearing and frying and stuff, and then there's that rah rah. I'm sorry, forgive me. Don't smoke me in the comments. I'm just saying. You know, there's that rah rah, but then using that as soundscape. Now here's the one thing I like that Nick did. He snuck in a little string line in there. So there's a little strings in there, which is really, really cool. And what I like about it is that he didn't try to, in my opinion, make it a very important part of the arrangement, meaning by shoving it a little hot and trying to make it like a string section as much as a string line. Good one, Nick. That's what I'm talking about, using that fried vocal like that. Stop, start, love it. Shit, I just got chicken skin. I don't know. Da, 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 da. Sorry, it's probably a shitty place to stop, guys, but something else that I love what Nick really focuses on, at least on this track, a lot of that stop-start element, you know, some of it is that, you know, what he did earlier, I was like, but in his arrangement, as powerful as this is, and even though he's got ambient stuff in the background, like right now there's like a pad in the background that's adding spaciness to it, which is great because that's what I've just been over the moon about in production, you know, progressive progression of metal and stuff, is how there's that integration of ambient ethereal kind of vibes to kind of get us through, you know. It's kind of like, I've said this before, it's kind of like that pre-injection of numminess in your arm before they put the big gauge of like in there. Like, you know, I've had a few operations, so I know what that is. And that's what the ethereal ambient vibe does for me. It's kind of like this, kind of puts you in the space to even accept the bolder poundiness of what, you know, arrangements like this is all about. But in the background, there is that little pad that's happening, and I love the stop-start elements that are happening here. Jesus Christ, Nick. Okay, that was a pumping track. Everything from, you know, song construction, the fact that the hook hit like super hard, like 4 times for me. I even still have it. I have it drilled into my head. I can't. I'm not tone perfect. It's in my head. The background vocal production and layering and harmonies was really super hard. As a matter of fact, Nick, I'm going to guess that probably that was just as difficult, engineering and mixing and getting, you know, the way you wanted as the guitars. I don't know. From my experience, once you get the guitar sounds to where you want, you can kind of like lock and load and leave it. I don't know, some engineers will come for me, but I mean, I'm down for automation and doing things as well. But those background vocals, you know, you can kind of do that too. You can stack that in a section and copy and paste across, but there was too much moving around, especially with what I pointed out before with that, using that growling fry technique Also as sound design, just to add that much more visceral, gut punch to it. Nick's guitar playing, it doesn't surprise me because he's already. Nobody has to ever have to prove themselves to me, but I've watched enough of his work to know that he's got, like I said earlier, he's got a lot more behind the curtain than I think he shows, and that's fine. That to me means this guy has potential, incredible longevity in an industry that's going to flex. And Nick will be able to make that kind of that change up. But I thought it was a sick track, man. I was actually waiting for a solo. I know that there were some intricate things that were going on there, and that's another thing too. Loved the arpeggiation he was playing during the verses, but it's those things that are, the squeaky noises or the harmonics that'll like stop, that kind of stuff. And Vi used to do some of that stuff early on in the day. I kind of recognized that there was when you would use harmonics in that tactic as a rhythmical arrangement, guitar harmonics. But I was kind of waiting for a guitar solo. I don't know what happened, but I think the genre, I'm not too sure. You guys will set me straight. Is more about what I've learned from Nick and his channels called the breakdown, that heavier part that just gets your head snapping, and it's not necessarily so much about any kind of musicianship. But excuse me, dude, you crushed, and it was a pleasure listening to it, and. Like being an Obi-Wan Kajibski here, the old fart in the coconut in the middle of the Pacific, watching musicians like Nick Nocturnal and stuff blow up and do what they do, and how they do what they do. And watching too. I love watching his videos when he talks about, I'm going to write a song like this band or this band and stuff. And it's fun too, because I've had Cubase since the Last Supper. And I even learned little tricks on like, how did he just do that? Oh, control what? So I've gotten miles of information from Nick, but this was just a joy to do. Sorry. All right, guys, I'm going to go to the beach. I got to relax. I got to go on Twitch. I did that fundraiser, raised $2,700 for the Maui Food Bank, except now I've got about 7 hours worth of reactions I've got to catch up on. So I'm going on Twitch and having fun there. Most of it's gaming music and stuff. I did have some of the heavy metal folks come over for that session. But my Twitch is down below if you want, and also Patreon. And if you guys want to, of course, buy me that cup of coffee, you know where the links are. And Nick, podcast? No, I'm kidding. I'm too old. I got nothing. I'd much rather sit here and just listen. All right, guys, take care. All right.